Hi, okay, I'm Joanne Pinna from the School of Nursing. I'm the Senior Learning Instructional Technologist for our school. So today we're going to talk about different advanced Blackboard tools, or which I consider advanced. Maybe you've been using Blackboard for a while and already use these tools, but it's always sometimes good to refresh of what is possible in Blackboard. So I wanted to start up with some upgrades that Blackboard had over the December month. And some new changes that they had is the content editor tool updates. It changed its look and feel in Blackboard, and I know that a lot of faculty are having a hard time finding certain tools that were easily recognizable before, but because they've changed, it's hard to find where to do things. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about some SafeAssign updates. Again, SafeAssign went through a huge update on how to see their reporting, and I'll talk to you both of what it looked like before and what it looks like now. Collaborate recordings. Collaborate also has a new button, and I'll show you where that new button is to make your recordings available, because if you don't have that button available, you're not going to be able to share to your students. So what's not new but good to know is creating smart views in your courses. Adaptive releases to your courses and to your assignments, as well as exams or anything else you need an adaptive release for and what they are. Creating groups, how to add students to groups, and dropping the lowest grade. I noticed more and more faculty are using this at our school, and how to do that in that way, efficiently, how to make that happen. Okay, the content editor tools. This is the way the content editor now looks. There's a couple of new buttons, so of course the paragraph and all that is the same the way it was before. But there's these different areas here, these 4 different prominent areas that are different. So the one with the 3 buttons is the expand toolbar. So in case you are only seeing the 1 line toolbar, you need to click on that and it'll expand it to 2 or 3 lines depending how large your screen is. The next one is the HTML Blackboard code. I use this all the time, and I had to find it myself because sometimes cutting and pasting from Word documents or wherever you're getting information gives you this weird formatting tool. So if you're familiar with HTML, that's a good place to clean it up. If you're not familiar with it, leave it alone, because you can easily mess it up. The accessibility checker, that's brand new. That wasn't there before. So it is, if you're using images in Blackboard, or if you're doing tables or something like that, if you click on this accessibility checker, it actually tells you what you need to fix or not fix in your Blackboard to make it more accessible. Like if you don't have an alt tag to your images, it'll sit there and remind you, you need your alt tag here. So that's a really good thing that they've made pretty easy to find. So the HTML add-on, that's new, but I highly recommend, unless you know JavaScript or anything, the above type of HTML coding, leave it alone. But I just thought, that way you know what that tool's for. Preview. Preview is pretty cool because preview lets you look at the site like a student right in that area. You don't have to always turn the on and off button at the top right of your screen to see it as a student. You can actually see it the way a student sees it right in this. Add content. That's the biggest question I get from a lot of faculty. Before, it used to be on the first toolbar that you can just say a paperclip was there that said add your documents. Now it's under this add content plus bar. So you have to go there, and then you'll be able to add documents, photographs, whatever you need to add into your Blackboard. So I actually kind of went through a little bit and just showed you images of what they look like before and after. And then that way you have this, as I'm assuming everybody will get a copy of this or be able to access this. So that way you can refer back to it to see what they actually are and what they look like. So the first one's the toolbar, the second one's the code, the third one's the accessibility feature. And then I also showed the add-ons and the preview And here's the plus button with the add content. So before, like I said, these were just that paperclip. Now that paperclip is gone. It's not there to be found. But you can insert your local files, which means files on your computer, or insert course files, which means the files that you already have in Blackboard. And then there's additional tools as well as SlideShare or YouTube presentations is also here. That was never there before, presented that way. Okay, SafeAssign updates and reports. So I have an image here of what the SafeAssign looked like before and what it looks like now. So the original SafeAssign had the report information, citations, and the manuscript all here for you to see. The new SafeAssign report is divided into 3 separate areas of report, citations, and summary, but it's on the right-hand side. It's not within the document itself. Also, what I've noticed with SafeAssign is before they actually broke up all the paragraphs so you can easily find it. In the new SafeAssign, it's a runner paragraph. So basically, instead of it being, let's say you have a 2-page paper and there's maybe 20 paragraphs in there, it would break it up before, and now it gives it to you maybe in 2 or 3 paragraphs, which is somewhat confusing for a faculty trying to find the information because they are runoff. They're looking for that individual paragraph breakup, and now it's not quite looking the same. So I don't know if Blackboard is going to be having an update to that, making it back to looking at original paragraphs or not, but I thought it would be really good for faculty to know this is how it's presented now, so you don't confuse when you're looking for these SafeAssign reports. So the different areas where the updates were. So the report summary is at the top, and you'll see it. You'll see the 57% or whatever the percentage is. It's up at the top right, and it says here this flyout, which it wasn't there before, tells you the risk factors of this paper. The citations sources that match are listed in the right panel as well. For each source, a number appears to which corresponds to the highlighted text submission on to the left-hand side. And this submission panel at the bottom here, I have these images so that you can see what the original source could have been. What I noticed a big difference is before it would say another student's paper, and now it just says original source. I haven't seen that it actually is specific to which source. So that's also something I find a little bit more difficult, but I think they're working on that to make it more specific. Okay, we're moving on to Collaborate recordings, making them available. So in Collaborate Ultra, if you're using that in your course, you have an area where these 3 buttons, this box with 3 lines are located. If you click on that, it'll open up this box right here where it gives you your recordings. Okay, when you click on your recordings, you see that there's a recording setting. That's brand new. That wasn't there last semester. You can now also give the recording a name. And then if you want your students to be able to see the link that you're possibly copying to give them, if you don't click on this Allow Public Access button, your students are not going to be able to see your recordings. I found that that happened towards the end or middle of December, and a lot of faculty members didn't realize that that was there. So if you're going to be using this going on this semester, it's really good to know in advance that these features have changed. Okay, so we're moving on to Smart Moves. Am I going too fast? Yes, no. No, I'm going okay? Okay, because I know we have a limited amount of time here to do this. So creating smart views. So what is a smart view? So a smart view is, if you look at your grade center, underneath the grade center, it's usually the defaults is assignments and there's 2 defaults, assignments, and I can't think of what the other one is. Anyway, in your full grade center, if you wanted your faculty, let's say you have a course that have 5 faculty in there, but you don't want your faculty to have to scroll to every student or every other student or every third student, depending on how many students you have, to look at just their group of students that they're assigned to. You can create a smart view that all they do is click on their name or their group or whatever way you labeled it, and in the Grade Center, it'll only populate their set of students. So smart views are really convenient if you have multiple faculty, and it's really convenient to keep things somewhat organized. However, I will warn you that if you're using smart views, please tell your faculty not to change your column settings for their convenience, because the smart views only lets them see their set of students, but the columns are uniform to everyone in the course, which is really important, because sometimes some faculty will say, well, I don't need this column, so I'll just delete it. Well, they just deleted that column that belonged to everybody else. So be careful with your smart view, but if you are a course coordinator, it's really good to tell your other faculty, don't delete the columns, just look at your students and go along with what you see. So anyway, so that's basically what a smart view is. It helps chunk students to faculty in the Grade Center, and they don't need to scroll around. How do you create a smart view? So in your groups, when you create your faculty groups, in there you have the option of creating a smart view. So you would get your group name, and here's a button that says create a smart view. However, it doesn't stop there. The smart view is really not active in the Grade Center. This creates this possibility of having a smart view, but you can't see it. So what you need to do is go to the full Grade Center, manage smart views. And then here is where the smart views are being able that you could load them under the Grade Center to see your groups of faculty. So here you would say create a smart view. If you checked that button before to create a smart view automatically, those smart views will already be listed there, but it's not in view. So what you will do if you need to create a smart view, you give your smart view a name. Again, if you did this already with that other button, you don't need to do this again, but I'm showing you from the beginning how to create one if it's not created already. You go to course group, and then you pick out which group this name refers to. So I named it Joanne Pinup Group, and then I'm clicking it and linking it to my group in my groups. Does that make sense? Because that means that my students only show up to me. And then you click submit. So next to that, where is the Pinup Group, there's a little star. So if you click on that star is the one that actually activates it under the Grade Center area. If you don't have that star clicked, you're not going to see it there. So once that's clicked, you'll see that it shows up under the full Grade Center. And I think I have one. Nope. I thought I had one that showed you the final process, but that's where you're going to find it. So wrapping things up, these are new things and some not new things that we've had in Blackboard, but I think it would help you as faculty to know exactly how to do this. And sometimes to do these things on your own also eliminates the time of having to wait for someone to process this stuff for you. Are there any questions? Oh, okay. So one of the questions are, tell me more about allow public access. Not sure what it means. So in other words, your recording without public access is only available to you. If you, I know we have some faculty that might take a recording and put it under their content, or they might take their recording to share. Let's say they have a small blurb that they want to give all their students in an announcement. Look, here's how to do these steps to do whatever. If you take your link of your recording and place it in announcements and that public access button is not checked, your students will see the link, but when they click on it, they say you don't have access to this recording. So in order to have them have the access to your recording, that button must be checked. Does that make sense?
Hi, Joanne. It's Andrea. Let me put my video on. I'm freezing. I just put my bathrobe on. um, nice to see your face. But as a faculty, it's kind of like allow public access. It probably should just say allow access to the students. I don't want, public access.
Yeah, I guess they're considering your students public. I didn't make the words to it because I don't think I would have used those terms, but that's exactly what they labeled it, allow public access.
I'm so glad I went to this today because I'm just about to do I'll do a welcome video and it would have just been to me.
Right. So, I mean, if you need help with that, that's school nursing. I'm here to help you. So,
Oh,
or anybody else that needs me to
oh,
refresh or anything.
I'm meeting with Angela on Monday, so we're good.
Okay, so what other questions do we had? We need the other student's paper with their name. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, you're saying that we need the other student's name with their name. I did not also create the new SafeAssign update because I feel that's a very important part in SafeAssign. And I guess maybe with their update, they just quite didn't make it to that point yet, but I'm sure that it's probably on their agenda. However, with that said, I always send Blackboard with these types of questions and these improvements. I always send Blackboard an email saying, you forgot about putting this, and can you please give me some kind of timeline that maybe this can be implemented, because serving the faculty needs, which is who is that person they took that information from, I think is extremely important. So it's good to know that you feel the same like I do. Do we have any more questions? Okay, looks like it. Is there anybody else that have any questions? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And